So it's been a week. It's like the 23rd of November, I think. Been just over a week since I've been 24. I had to think for a second then. Maybe 24th today. I don't know. I've been needing a lot of sleep recently, it seems. Last night I slept for nearly 9 hours, and then same with the day before and the day before. Sleeping a lot, but I'm feeling better throughout the day. There's less sort of anxiety and less there's a sense of despair I was carrying is kind of dissolved a little bit. Like last night, there was still a small sense of like meaninglessness, like unfulfillment. Even though I had a relatively productive day, I guess. One of the things I want to talk about is kind of the philosophy of more, or the philosophy, or like the what's the word? I guess utilitarianism. Like a focus on efficacy, getting as much done as possible to the best degree possible, as quickly as possible, whatever. Um, Even when it comes to things such as like even when there's like an irony in it, like meditation or reading, or, thinking, going on walks and just thinking. Like yesterday, I went for a walk, decent walk, and I would usually listen to something. I've got these nice noise cancelling headphones I bought myself for my birthday, Gumtree second hand, of course. And I would have used them. I would have listened to music or a podcast. I was reading this book by Nassim Taleb called the Bed of, not the bread, but the Bed of Procrustes. Procrustes, I think. Procrustes. And it's just a book of aphorisms. Very, very good. I read it in a day. It was piss, and it was really fun and kind of thought-provoking. Really good fun reading. He's very opinionated and he sounds very arrogant. I like it. It was good shit. And yeah, one of the things was like, I don't know, walk slowly or try to walk without any distraction. And he said like the person who has to listen to music when they're walking, one, I don't know, is a dickhead, and two, shouldn't be listening to music in the first place. Because if you have to, I'm mind to, I told Nico, I said that to Nico, and it's like, oh, he's so arrogant. But I think everything he says, even if you disagree with it, everything in this book, same with a lot of things that, gurus or whatever's say, even if there is a bit of bullshit or opinionation behind it, there's a lot of time some element of truth. So yeah, I went for a walk without any headphones, and after the walk, I tried to walk slowly as well, which was quite difficult, trying to force myself to walk slowly, because I was like, I could be burning more calories walking faster, and I could get home quicker so I can do X, Y, and Z. But I just tried to force myself to walk slowly, and I felt calmer afterward. Calmer than I would have done if I was hurrying it. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I started a book today, Krishnamurti, Think on These Things. I've read a bit of one of his other books, which is like a paragraph for every day of the year. I got bored quickly of that because it wasn't much. It was just little tidbits. But so far, this has been good. I've only read, I don't know, 10, 15 pages or so, if that. Because I was just reading a bit today. And it's good. And I don't know, it makes me. The reason kind of provoked this video, because I wasn't going to do anything, I don't really have much to say. It made me think, like, when people read these things, do they really think about them? Like when you read something quite profound, or sometimes I'll read something and it'll make me go, oh shit, and I'm guilty of this as well. But I think it seems, or I don't know, do people just read it and just carry on? Do they read it and go, wow, yeah, that's true, and then carry on? I think I've done that definitely in the past, because it's easier. It's hard to make changes and apply that which you read. When he talks about, I don't know, Nassim Taleb talks a lot about how employment is slavery, and yeah, he might go on about it a bit, but if you at least think about it and think like, oh, am I happy in this sort of employment? Could I be doing something else which could be making me happier? How can I transition over to that sustainably? How long will that take? You know, what can I do today? Can I break it down? You know, can I break the big goal of not being employed into smaller goals and work toward that? One of the other things Krishnamurti says is about how as soon as we want to be somebody or be something, we're no longer free. Which, yeah, that makes sense because it's desire and it's wanting to be something. So I noticed that recently, or over the last, I don't know, probably the last forever. But more specifically, over the last 3 or 4 months, I've been wanting to be like, I don't know, 3 months, maybe less, I don't know. Wanting to be a web developer, and I'm like, yeah, I can. When I'm there, when I'm freelancing, I'll be happy. But once or twice, I've really thought about if I were doing that now. It's not like I'd be excited about every project, you know. Maybe I wouldn't want. Maybe I'd have no motivation to work. Maybe I'd be like, oh no, I just need to make my own app now and just have that sell and gain passive income from that. Then I'll be happy. So it's completely postponing happiness. And I think I spoke about this in my last video, where I was talking about learning to love oneself, or me learning to love myself more specifically. What's this lighting doing? It's a bit fucking bright, bro. Yeah, I'm just like postponing indefinitely happiness, postponing happiness indefinitely. There's more learning to be happy now. And yeah, I don't know how I'm doing that. How I want to do it. One is diet and sleep, of course. Exercise. I did a bit of gym work 2 days ago and yesterday, and hopefully I can do that. Continue that. I thought about giving myself a time constraint, so now it's nearly 3:25. Maybe I was saying like, oh, you can only go to the gym between 4 and 5 p.m. and even if you just do a little bit, just make sure to try to go every day. Just because I cut my hair, or Nika cut my hair, so I've cut my ponytail off. So I've only got this little thing, which is kind of annoying because it's kind of long enough to irritate my head. Shave my sides, look like a prepubescent boy now. But yeah, I noticed that if I do that, I've got like flab, and I'm like, I could look pretty fucking good if I get like lean down properly and not like try to grow a beard, because obviously I can't grow one. I can grow a mustache, but that's not a good look. That's more like, I think I worded it once, it's basically like a guy who's hit puberty and feels insecure about his masculinity, so he tries to grow facial hair to compensate for his masculinity insecurity. That's how I describe my look when I try to grow facial hair, which is quite funny. Yeah, I could talk. I could probably get some quotes and talk about, expand upon the shit I read recently. I think I'll do that. I think I might try doing that because there are some things that really engaged me, and I was like, I could think about this for a bit, and it did make me think, and I could talk shit about that. Yeah, I started practicing the, what do you call it, Kegels shit, and I don't know, coming and not coming, orgasming, separating orgasm and ejaculation, which sounds super, oh, why are you talking about that? But something I think has a lot of potential. Like I said to Nico, because I've got this book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man, and I said to Nico about how I want to start doing that or something. It came up in conversation, and it was like, yeah, it just sounds like it's probably bullshit, and that's gotcha. That's a bit of a gotcha there, Nico, because that's not open-mindedness. You can just say, oh, it's not for me, but what's that? That's just an excuse of not giving, a voice to something which could benefit you. Just because it sounds like, oh, it's like if I said about keto diet or fasting, even if on first impression it sounds like, oof, fucking jacking off and not coming, that sounds like fucking bullshit. That sounds like shite. At least listen and listen to how it's affected people, and if people have done good by it, and yada yada yada, and give it a go, and then say no. If it doesn't interest you now, then okay, I guess, but that's fine, but just don't dismiss it completely, because that's, to me, ignorance and closed-mindedness, narrow-mindedness. Yeah, I'm gonna pause. Okay, one of the things also Krishnamurti talks about is ambition, and he was saying, like, if you're ambitious, if you want to be this and want to be that and want to achieve amazing things, then you'll never be free, because so many ambitious people are just enslaved by their ambitions. And I was like, okay, yeah, because I was speaking to Elliot, I don't know, whenever, and I was like, well, one of the things that potentially not separates us, but kind of separates us, that just sounds egotistical and pretentious and arrogant. But one of the things that I think, yeah, whatever separates us is like our ambition. I think I have pretty large ambitions when I think about it. I never thought I had ambition, but then I was like, okay, well, I want to cycle, do this, or my cycle ride. I want to get a cabin with you in the middle of Norway and work for myself. Those, even though to me they're just like, that's just what I want to do. I think objectively they're pretty big ambitions. So then I was like, okay, well, if Krishnamurti is saying that ambition is slavery, then what does he mean by that? And I'm just on that bit now, and I think I need to reread it because I think he answered this and I forgot. But I think if you're delaying happiness until you achieve those ambitions, then that's not good. But I think if you have these ambitions, but you're able to if you're able to work toward them, and in that work toward them you find meaning, fulfillment, and you're doing them as like ends in themselves, then that's not slavery. If I'm just coding and I'm coding my own thing and I'm just enjoying, like, doing this in the present moment, just enjoying this coding, but it just happens to be leading me toward this quote unquote ambition, then fine. But if I'm coding and it's drudgery and I'm kind of hating it and I'm despising all the time that I spend coding, then that's slavery. Yes, I completely agree. But yeah, again, if you have an ambition, in quotation marks, an ambition, like a goal, but the time you spend working toward it is completely meaningful and fulfilling, and yeah, you enjoy it, and yada yada yada, then I wouldn't say that's toxic. That's that. I also had a conversation with Elliot at the weekend. It was a 5 hour talk, and it was fucking good. Um, I could talk about what we talked about, but what the fuck did we talk about? I don't know. It's more, yeah, I don't know. Oh, so what somebody said was name dropping, in what do you call it, is like, I don't know, losers name drop, and good people don't let they let their own work do the talking. They don't let, and I noticed that a couple of times I've name dropped because I've got a friend. I could name drop him now. I could name drop now to be like, oh yes, I've got this friend. Yeah, he's a philosophy dude, and he's good. He's a big dick, and he's somewhat of a big dick, I think, in big dick philosophy guy. And a couple of times I've name dropped him, like, oh yes, he's he's a hoya. And I realise that's just when I do it as well. I think I've only done it a couple of times, but when I've done it, or maybe a few times, but when I've done it, I've been like, it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Like, Luke, that's, you don't need to show off about that. That's just petty. It's pointless. It's immature. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. But yeah, me and Elbow talked, and I don't know. It's good to have a very small friend group for me. Uh, just because the friends I have, we have kind of, I don't know, all the conversation seems meaningful. And I was talking to my sister who's had trouble recently, and she was saying she was like with this friend of hers who very like a month ago, this friend completely fucked her over and started calling her names and shit. But then she's like staying around hers and getting drunk with her and stuff. And I'm like, wait, this is one of your closest friends? Like, is that what friends do? And she'll probably respond, yeah, friends fall out and whatever. It's like in relationships, yeah, you haven't had a relationship, it's not a proper relationship until you argue a lot, or until you've had a big argument. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And also, another thought, I guess, which has just come to me about Krishnamurti. He was talking about the decline of the West, or the decline of society in general. And I've read a book called Ride the Tiger, which was talking about decline in the West, or decline in the world, cultural decline, etc. And talks about traditional values and going back to traditional values, like in antiquity and Greek times. And I've spoken to people about this before, and a couple of people have asked, like, why is it in decline? Look at the progression in medicine and this and this and this and this. It's very, I think Steven Pinker is a proponent of, the supporter of the fact that we're not in decline, or the fact, the idea that we're not in decline, that we're making mass progress. But, that's materialistically speaking. And yeah, but in terms of what I'd say is, in terms of spirit, in terms of values, in terms of existential well-being, in terms of mental health, in terms of the degree to which we sort of fulfill or exercise our creative potential, all of these things are kind of under the umbrella term spirituality, I guess. In that regard, I think we are in decline. And I don't think it just means going back to traditional values, but just, I don't fucking know, read, I don't know, a million books and make your own mind up. It's hard for me to describe what I'm trying to say. I can't really just provide a solution here, but yeah, I don't know. Find what you like, do what you like. Krishnamurti talked about how intelligence is understanding how everything around you affects you, which kind of really nicely kind of summed up part of why I like to read philosophy or psychology, because I can, or like that recent psychological, architectural psychology book, because it's like, it helps me understand how my environment affects me, why I have certain tendencies, or why I react certain ways to certain people in certain situations, or the philosophy of morality, or kind of understanding why I might think certain things are wrong and why I might think certain things are right, when actually there's no objective rule set. It's just kind of developed over centuries or millennia, because of religion or bourgeoisie or whatever. It's interesting to begin to understand, and I think that's what erudition is. Erudition is like a calm intelligence, like understanding and kind of being at peace because you understand your environment, why people are acting certain ways. There's no need to get angry because there's an understanding. Anger is like unreconciled, I don't know, understanding. It's like not understanding, it's you don't get it. But if you understand the motivations behind X, Y, and Z and why they might think that way and yada yada, then there's no reason to be frustrated about things or anything. So yeah, I don't know, rant over basically. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to be a bit slower at things, and kind of cut my time. I think I said, didn't I? I'm trying to cut porn, and so far a week, and I don't know how long I've cut it, a week, 10 days, something, and I've not really had any temptation. Because I just saw mid-20s Luke as somebody who should have matured enough to not want porn in his life. Kind of a bit of bullshit, psychology, identity shit, which is obviously just a projection, yada, but it's working, it's helping so far. And these birds, bro. Yeah, that's it, I think that's it. That's going to be it for today. I'm going to stop talking now. These birds are going at it. They're just loads of... Anyway, bye.